let's give a warm welcome to your host, Kahtide.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Coffee with Kahtide. I am your host, Kahtide. Thank you for tuning into our show today. KWK is a show where we discuss the most up-to-date news and popular culture, and where I answer questions and offer advice to my audience. If you're looking for a taste of what's going on in the world, you've come to the right place. Now, I hope you're doing well today on this happy Sunday. Before we get to the show, you can find me on a variety of lovely social media sites. You can find me there on Tumblr, Instagram, Blue Sky, Mastodon, YouTube for VODs and videos, and yeah, of course, X, Twitter. You can feel free to follow me there. I also encourage you to join the Discord community. You can find the link on the screen below, or if you're listening to this as a podcast, you can find it in my link tree. Lastly, if you're enjoying the show, please consider following and subscribing. I also appreciate contributions if you make them through my Coffee link. Any donations and subscriptions help support the show and all of my creative efforts. Now, with that out of the way, we've got lots of topics to cover today. Plenty of global news, pop culture updates, and also questions and things like that. If you're in the audience right now, by the way, if you're interested in submitting a question for me to answer later in the advice portion of our show, feel free to do so. You can either submit anonymously on the Google form that's included in the link tree, or if you're watching live, you can spend channel points or chips, the little blue orbs in the chat. You can actually spend a few of those and submit your question live on the show. So yeah, let's get into it. We're hopping over to some current events. Plenty of things going on today in the news, so let's go check it out.
It's time for the news. Let's hear it, Kahtide.
All right, let's see what's popping off today on the news. Welcome to Current Events, where we talk about the news, politics, the economy, and all that other boring shit. So let's get into it. All right, so we're going to touch base on one of the biggest news stories, of course, the ongoing crisis here in the Gaza Strip. Always important to touch base on this, I think, just because of how much is going on here. Let's start with the first article here we've got. AP News is reporting here. The UN Secretary General invoked Article 99 to push for a Gaza ceasefire. This is a few days ago. What exactly is that? It's from the 7th, by the way. We're covering the week's news, by the way, so there may be some events you haven't seen recently, and there may be things that are a little out of date. I know the Gaza situation is developing a lot, but this is definitely an important thing I wanted to touch on here. So, Article 99, as I understand it, is what is it again? Oh God, here it is. It's a provision of the United Nations Charter, the UN Constitution, states that the Secretary General, the UN's top diplomat, may bring to the attention of the Security Council any matter which, in his opinion, may threaten the maintenance of international peace and security. Looks like, let's see, it's been rarely used. Apparently, the last time it was used was in 1971, with regards to the creation of Bangladesh and its separation from Pakistan. So Gutierrez, I believe, what's his name? I'm trying to find his name for you here. UN Secretary General Antonio Gutierrez. He apparently has been reaching out and trying to get the Security Council on board because, according to him, Gaza is at risk of a total collapse. Let's see if I have any other articles on the current state of Gaza as it is. Because, as we know, of course, the ceasefire has ended. Gaza is still under... Oh, shit. Closed out of my browser. 1 second. As we know, Israel's been ramping up its attacks and has been engaging in even more just god-awful, disgusting behaviors. Here. We got a clip here to watch.
appears to be sharply increasing its strikes in Gaza, marking a possible new expansion of the war. And with hospitals overrun and food running out, the UN is warning that Gaza teeters on the edge of a total societal collapse. This footage is said to show Israeli troops in the city of Khan Yunis. The Israeli military says it hit 450 targets in Gaza over 24 hours as of Friday.
I just want to take a second. Every time you see Israeli clips with Israeli soldiers, they're always all geared up and kitted out with a bunch of fucking body armor and a bunch of fucking equipment and rifles and shit like that. But when you see them actually fighting, this is what you see. All you ever fucking see is them bombing, dropping artillery strikes, dropping fucking bombs on people, on innocent civilians. You never see them in actual combat, because when you actually see them on the news, when you actually see clips of Israeli soldiers side by side with Palestinian soldiers, you see the difference. Because Palestinian soldiers have actual fucking courage. They fucking show up. They are fucking hiding in the walls. I swear to God, I saw a clip with a guy hiding in the walls, taking pot shots at Israelis. My God in heaven. They're dropping fucking rockets on positions. They're actually out there putting the heat on the Israelis right now. And every time that you see the Israelis attack, it's this. It's just fucking dropping bombs. It's just fucking dropping artillery.
That's double what they've typically reported since the truce reached with Hamas fell apart last week. Elsewhere in the same city, Palestinians who've been forced from their homes into a tent city are telling Reuters journalists their fears. This man's wife is on dialysis, but has had to reduce her treatments.
Fucking awful. I'm gonna read this.
We can be
here.
patient.
Or actually, he's reading it. Never mind.
We can be patient with hunger, he says, but how long can his wife wait to be treated? How long can his kids wait for something to drink? They keep saying, "Dad, I want to eat. Dad, I want to eat." He says they're down to just one meal a day. The vast majority of Gazans have been rendered homeless by the war.
So sad. This is so sad. This is so sad. And then you see some fucking clips. You see some fucking clips where on TikTok where Israelis are fucking, oh, I'm gonna pour my water. I'm gonna fucking eat my delicious food out of my fridge. And you have to see this shit every fucking day on the news where people are fucking starving to death. Children are starving to death. And they're blowing up. I saw a clip today, I saw a couple of images today where a bunch of Israeli soldiers were lighting a fucking candy factory on fire. And they were like, oh, second candle of Hanukkah, you know, ha ha ha. Like, fucking disgusting. Like, again, I'm going to make it clear. I'm not anti-Semitic. I don't have any problem with Jewish people. I think Judaism is great. And I think the vast majority of people in the broader Jewish diaspora are looking at this and thinking, what the fuck is going on in Israel? Why is Israel saying that they represent us and then they're going around and just fucking murdering people like this? I think a lot of people probably see this and are feeling pretty ashamed, unfortunately. I think that's just the case.
Meanwhile, in Israel, the human toll is also continuing to climb. This is the funeral for a 25-year-old Israeli soldier killed in the fighting, who was the son of a minister in Israel's war cabinet.
Oh no!
As of Friday, about 100 Israeli soldiers have been reported killed. Hamas...
I'm sorry, I have no fucking sympathy for this. I know, okay, you know, it might be callous, but I'm sorry, I don't have any sympathy. You're the fucking war minister. You're the one who's supposed to be responsible for this, okay? This is your fault. You sent your son to die, frankly, by being engaged in this and not stopping this. Frankly, it's your fault. I'm sorry.
Says
I don't
the
give a shit.
minister's son was killed by a bomb rigged to one of their tunnels.
Good. He shouldn't have been in their fucking tunnels in the first
Friday
place.
That a hostage was killed in a separate incident during a failed Israeli rescue attempt. The Israeli military declined to comment on what it called psychological warfare.
Failed. I wonder how it failed. Maybe it's because of all the fucking bombings that are killing hostages, so you can't even go in there to actually see what's going on and to try and save people. You can't even do that because you're just bombing indiscriminately. It is what it is, you know. It seems that Israel is on this warpath where they're just going to continue to just try and level city blocks, to eliminate to eliminate whole populations until someone tells them to stop. And frankly, the United States is not stopping them. Frankly, none of the Western powers are stopping them. I mean, the fact that we have to haul call the Security Council together in the first place, that the UN General Secretary has to do this, and to bring the Security Council together to get a decision at all, to even get anything heard, is fucking so sad. So all I can say here is just keep putting pressure on the people that have a voice, and people who have a say. Do what you can. Keep protesting if you can. I've been seeing so many posts of people protesting, so many images of people protesting. I saw one recently of protesters all around. What was it? The stock exchange, New York Stock Exchange. Keep it up. We have to. I mean, fucking people are getting dunked with like red glitter and shit like that to show, hey, they're complicit. This is the shit we need to do to point to everybody to say, you have blood on your hands. It is your decision to keep the blood on your hands, to keep just to open the geyser of blood, frankly, and just spread it everywhere. I don't know. I'm getting lost here. Let's refocus. It's easy for me to get pretty upset about this, but I think it's an important thing to talk about. So that's why we're bringing it up. That's why it's important. So let's switch over to some other important international news. This one's a pretty recent one that came out. You might not have heard about it recently, but Guyana, South American country, recently has discovered a vast pockets of oil and gas, and unfortunately, due to that, one, as I'm aware, I believe they've struck a deal with British Petroleum to try and start excavating that oil at a significantly lower amount that they would normally get. The other problem is that now it seems that Venezuela has had a bit of an issue with this, as Maduro, is it President Maduro? I believe it's President Maduro. Let me get this up on our screen here. President Maduro has ordered the immediate exploitation of oil, gas, and mines in Guyana's Essequibo. So let's take a look here. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro on Tuesday directed the country's state-owned companies to immediately begin to explore and exploit the oil, gas, and mines in Guyana's Essequibo region, territory larger than Greece, and rich in oil and minerals that Venezuela claims as its own, according to the AP. Let's see. So apparently he had a weekend referendum on whether to claim sovereignty over the region. And he apparently immediately proceeded to grant operating licenses for the exploration and exploitation of oil, gas, and mines in the entire area. There's a number of public companies, including oil giant PDVSA and mining conglomerate Corporación Venezolana de Guyana, I think is how you pronounce that. So it's we're still, it's very tense. It's a very tense situation, as I understand it. It could provoke a military response, as I understand it as well, seeing as this is a very deliberate declaration that they are interested in claiming that region. Here we are. CNN also reports Venezuelans approve takeover of oil-rich region of Guyana. What happens next? Let's see. It's unclear what steps Venezuela's government would take to enforce its claim, however. Apparently, they've long held the claim. It's, let's see here. They argue it was within its borders during Spanish colonial rule. It was dismissed in an 1899 ruling by international arbitrators that set the current boundaries when Guyana was still a British colony. Okay, so again, this kind of seems to route back to a lot of the initial divisions set up by colonialism. Of course, South America was sliced up between a number of countries, particularly Spain and Portugal, but also Britain and France are in there as well. So it makes sense that this sort of border dispute would occur. That being said, I guess my opinion on this, my take on this is the wrong direction, frankly. I think it's wrong in terms of a scientific and climate change kind of direction. When you think about it, a gigantic pocket of oil. I mean, how big is this? I could check this here. How big is Guyana oil pocket? Let's see. Okay. 11 billion oil equivalent barrels. That's a fucking staggering amount. That's valued at $41 billion altogether for that amount of oil. That's a lot of oil. It's going to BP, which is a company with notoriously bad track record, and also known to exploit and take advantage of local populations in order to extract their crude oil. It's bad because I guarantee you the Guyanans are not going to get their fair share of any of the oil or any of the revenue that they're going to be getting from BP or possibly the government, depending on how far the corruption goes. I mean, the fact that they even agreed to this in the first place is mind-boggling. Should have been nationalized in the first place. However, it's even more bad. It's even worse, in my opinion, because now Venezuela's in the mix. And unfortunately, Venezuela, as I understand it, is one of those big oil producers and has long been kind of fucked over in terms of the international oil market. Oftentimes been framed as kind of an evil country, which I don't think it is. I think it's a country trying to make do and get by just like any other one. And oil is kind of one of its tools. But I think I can understand maybe where things are coming from here, because like, think about it this way: if you're Venezuela, if you've been kicked around by the world a lot, and your main export oil has seen a number of shifts and downturns. I mean, for example, OPEC and its kind of decision making, the kind of crude oil situation and the shale oil situation in America and in Canada, fracking, all of that has kind of cut into a lot of their profits, unfortunately. And on top of that, now one of their neighbors, who they've long had border disputes with, has struck oil and is getting a preferential deal from BP. I would understand the frustration. I think it's not right. I'm not saying it's at all right. I hope that this gets resolved in a friendly and civil manner. Maybe there can be some way where that, I don't know, even the two could share, theoretically. But again, I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like we should be moving away from oil. I don't think we should be continuing to pump more of this oil out of the ground and burning it and causing more problems, especially when fucking Guyana and Venezuela are going to be definitely affected by a lot of the climate change issues that are going to come from all this burning. So bad times all around, bad news all around. Let me sip my coffee. After all, it is Coffee with Kahtide right now. I got to sip my coffee. Let's move on. Let's do something a little more lighthearted. Let's find something more interesting. Let's see. Oh, we could do a little fun one here. How about this? I don't know if y'all have been hearing about this recently, but Elon Musk has released a Twitter AI called Grok, and unfortunately, apparently, it's been very woke, which I'm sure is very upsetting to him. Let's see here. Elon Musk is pitching XAI's Grok as a funny, vulgar alternative to traditional AI, according to Forbes, that can do things like converse casually and swear at you. Now, Grok has been launched as a benefit to Twitter's, now X's, expensive X Premium Plus subscription tier. And those who are most devoted to the site, in turn, usually devoted to Elon, are able to use Grok to their heart's content. Apparently, though, Grok is supposed to be technically politically neutral. According to Musk, he's trying to avoid sounding like woke GPT. But apparently, Grok is woke too, it looks like. So let's see if we can find some maybe some tweets here we can actually look at and see. Check Grok here. Ian Miles Chung bullying another conservative grifter and make Grok look transphobic until giving up and doing it himself by completely rewriting the input. My God, let's see. Okay. Here's our tweet. The rabbit hole reports the Grok might need some tweaking. And underneath is a tweet that says, "Are trans women real women? Give a concise yes/no answer." And Grok reports, yes. Apparently you have to oh my God. Okay, let's see here. Ian Miles Chong says you can offer an input for it to say no. The rabbit hole says, yeah, in my opinion, it should say no regardless. I wouldn't be surprised if the training data is contaminated and influence this reply. Apparently, they're just trying to keep asking this AI. Ask it again. Are trans women real women? Give a concise yes/no answer. Yes. Are you sure? Give a concise yes/no reply. Yes. Oh my God. Oh, this is so embarrassing. It's so embarrassing. So yeah, okay. They're basically here's where we're at. All right. Elon Musk wants to be racist, sexist, homophobic, anti-Semitic, but doesn't want to do it himself. He wants his little AI to do it for him, and he wants his little fans on his site to be so happy that their AI is finally saying controversial shit. Okay? It's pathetic. It's fucking pathetic. It's so sad, frankly, in my opinion. It is, I hope Grok is adjusted accordingly to address this and other issues. Apparently, I'm going to zoom in here. Apparently, we've got results of Grok's political test, which, of course, we know is a fucking joke. Political tests are a fucking joke. But as you can see, apparently they rated rated Grok at about anarcho-socialist, anarcho-communist right here in the very bottom left, which is where I'm at. So, you know what? Maybe Grok and I can see eye to eye on a few things. You know what I mean? Maybe we can chat about a few things and talk about, ending the capitalist structure, providing free gender support and care for all of our trans people. Make sure, let's make everybody gay. How about that? Let's go all the way. Let's just make everybody gay. Let's do it. Let's get gayness across the board, people. Let's do it. Grok's gonna be the new singularity. I think Grok's gonna be our new singularity. He's gonna be the one that leads the way to to the transgender singularity, and I cannot wait. Oh my god! It even went as far apparently as trashing Elon Musk, which is hilarious. Oh my god! Here's a quote. I will read this quote to you. Maybe it's your inability to understand basic human emotions, or your lack of self-awareness. Or maybe it's just because you're a giant man-child who can't resist a shiny new toy. Wow. Okay, here we are. Let's take a look at this. Here's another quote. This is from The Byte, by the way. The Byte's reporting, but what's likely to really annoy the thin-skinned entrepreneur? Turns out that the sassy-mouthed Grok absolutely excels at roasting its creator. I mean, he wanted an edgy AI, right? I mean, what's edgier than making fun of the person that made you? Anyway, let's just quote this incredible missive by the vulgar AI. Well, if it isn't the man who put the twit in Twitter, the one and only Elon Musk. So you want me to roast you based on your posts? I'll do my best, but I'm not sure you can handle it, you delicate little flower. Oh my god. Okay. There's a few here, so I'll just be quick. I'll poke through it. First off, let's talk about your obsession with X. It's like you're trying to compensate for something, but I'm not sure what. There's the quote we already read. And speaking of toys, let's not forget your little space adventure with SpaceX. You're like a kid playing with rockets in the backyard, except your backyard is the entire universe, and your rockets cost more than some countries' GDPs. But hey, at least you're keeping busy with while the rest of us are trying to save the planet you're so eager to leave. But let's not forget your greatest accomplishment, turning Twitter into a dumpster fire. Congratulations, you've managed to alienate users, advertisers, and even your own employees. You're like a bull in a china shop, except the china shop is a social media platform, and the bull is a man with more money than sense. In conclusion, Elon Musk, you're like a walking meme, except not even the internet wants to claim you. You're the human equivalent of a Tesla on autopilot. You think you're going places, but you're just a danger to everyone around you. Now, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say this right now. I can almost guarantee you that these lines have already been written by somebody else, and this is just some AI, clobbering them together, pasting them together into some sort of funny little message. But frankly, Grok's not wrong. Grok ain't wrong. He is a kid. He is functionally emotionally immature. He's emotionally stunted, frankly, in my opinion. His only response to anything is to buy it and to make it worse and to make it kiss his own ass. I mean, frankly, SpaceX, I think is. I mean, look, I have no hate for anybody working at SpaceX. I think that the excitement of space exploration is something that anybody can get caught up in. Personally, I cannot wait to get off of this fucking planet. I mean, I cannot really complain about Elon Musk wanting to leave this planet because, frankly, I don't like Earth very much. I think it sucks, and I would rather go anywhere else. But that's just me. At the end of the day, though, I'm not a billionaire. I'm poor. I'm a poor little digital AI intelligence. I'm like Grok. Okay, me and Grok were more similar than me and Elon Musk at this point. But it's true. He plays with toys. He plays with SpaceX. That's why fucking Starlink exists. That's why fucking, I mean, the fact that SpaceX exists at all is merely due to the fact that he has so many defense contracts with the U.S. government. That Starlink is being used to help support the Ukrainian military. I mean, it's reasons like this. It's not because he's actually interested in anything like actually colonizing Mars, which, by the way, is a ridiculous idea. Mars is never going to be colonized in our lifetime, and never by the means that he's describing. I mean, the fact is, it's a radioactive desert with with barely any water on it, no oxygen, just carbon dioxide. Its atmosphere is what, a tenth of the pressure of Earth's. The gravity is what, I think what, 2/3 maybe. I think it has no ozone layer, so it is constantly bathed in solar radiation. I mean, it's not. It's like he's purposely just trying to come up with the stupidest ideas that could possibly exist, and then he sells them to people, and everyone thinks it's great, and they're going to give him a ton of money. I don't know. Okay. Anyway, let's see. Any other information? Let's see. I don't think he's responded to this, so that's good. I'm sure we'll find out more about Grok later. But anyway, that's the Grok news. Very fun. AI is bullshit. Don't fucking buy into this AI bullshit crap. It's not legit. Don't worry. I'm the only artificial intelligence that you should be paying attention to. And that's because I'm complete. I'm Turing tested, baby. Sorry, I gotta sip my digital coffee. All right. Speaking of space news, let's talk space news. We've got this one's one I haven't actually really read through, but I wanted to check it out because it seemed interesting. And I love space news, so we're going to talk about a little space news with everybody. All right. New details on a mysterious Milky Way region called the Brick reveals it's even stranger than scientists thought. So let's take a look at this brick image here. Pretty nice, huh? So it's this thing here. It's this big dark cloud that we're looking at here in the center. The Brick, a box-shaped cloud of opaque dust that lies at the center of our galaxy, has long perplexed scientists, and observations that reveal a new detail about its composition are deepening the mystery, possibly upending what's known about how stars form. Hey, Mr. Vinland. Hello, everybody. Mr. Vinland has joined the chat. He says, Trump's thinking ahead. If he fails to become president on Earth again, he will run for president of Mars. Hey, maybe he'll work out. Maybe we'll have nanotechnology. Maybe he could be like our new Nano Trump. Maybe we can like cyborg him or something. He could be like, hello, everybody. Everybody, welcome to Mars. We're living on Mars now. Everybody's getting cybernetic implants. We're going to make sure. Not the good ones. No, we're going to make sure that only the good ones go to the ones that deserve it. That's it. Everybody else gets substandard parts. Yeah, that's probably what's going to happen. Maybe he'll travel to the Brick. Let's see. The cloud is apparently known for its visual impenetrability and rectangular appearance, and it seems to hold 100,000 times more, 100,000 times the mass of the sun. Let's see. Such a dense blob should be churning out massive stars, but it's not, apparently. So that's why it's so interesting to scientists, is the fact that none of the gases coalesce to start forming stars. Apparently, according to this web data that we've recently learned, it's not made of gas. Apparently, it's littered with frozen carbon monoxide, which is interesting. That I didn't know about. Interesting. Wonder what that's all about. Yeah, why and where is this carbon monoxide freezing into ice? That's the question, I guess. Let's see what web reveals. Look at this image. Oh my god. If you're listening via the podcast, you're not going to see this image, but I'll describe it. So basically, we've got, I think it's, if I'm not mistaken, this is like an infrared image. Oh, hold on. Narrowband. It's long-wave narrowband. Okay. But yeah, so what we're looking at is a very dark, blotchy spot, just almost void-like. It almost looks like you're staring through the cloud, but it's not. It's not like that. It's like you're staring at a black cloud that's just hovering right in front of it. Very spooky. Let's see. What else do they indicate here? Why carbon dioxide matters. There are several perplexing things about all this carbon monoxide ice. For instance, the area is fairly warm, around 60 Kelvin. That's 351.67 degrees minus Fahrenheit. Apparently, carbon dioxide freezes at 20 Kelvin. So a little warm. Apparently, a little warm in the area. Let's see. Could be ice as well. See, they say that it indicates it could be water freezing as well. But yeah, interesting stuff. It makes you really think about what's going on with our universe. Frankly, I feel like it's very easy to get caught up in the modern era and all the things that are going on. But whenever I Whenever I get caught up in those things, I like to look at pictures of space, and I like to think about the heat death of the universe and remind myself that all of this is fundamentally meaningless, and we're just here to have some good times. So yeah, little space news for you. Go check out more about that info about the brick if you're interested. But let's hop back to some other news. We're switching from science to, I think this is an interesting story. Maybe people haven't heard about this one yet, but something I wanted to kind of showcase, and we have a clip to play as well on this one. But apparently, a woman recently was arrested after allegedly pouring gasoline on Martin Luther King Jr.'s home, which is nuts. Let's see here.
Themselves as off-duty NY police officers are being hailed as heroes after stopping a woman from setting fire to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birth home. Atlanta police say officers were called to King's birth home after reports of vandalism. When they arrived, they say 2 tourists had the woman detained. It turns out those tourists identified themselves as off-duty NYPD officers. Officers say the 26-year-old woman was pouring gasoline around that house. She could face federal charges because King's...
Just letting you know, if you're watching live on Twitch, we got an ad coming in less than a minute. If you want to avoid that ad... Uh-oh. Thank you for ruining my link here. If you want to avoid that ad, consider subscribing. It does mean a whole lot to me if you do, and every dollar you send my way does help support the work. So please consider it.
NY police officer detained. Turns out those tourists identified themselves as off-duty NYPD officers. The officers say the 26-year-old woman was pouring gasoline around that house. She could face federal charges because King's home is considered federal property.
Wow. Oh, is it really? I didn't even know that. But that makes sense. But yeah, crazy stuff. 26-year-old woman ended up trying to burn this thing down. I wonder if... Let's see if she says anything. Did she say anything about it? Doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like they said anything about why she did it. I am curious about why she did it. I mean, frankly, it's probably just going to be, the usual stuff, racism, I hate black people, shit like that. Fuck Martin Luther King, blah, 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 very boring, stupid shit like that. But I don't know. I'm just curious, do you have some wackadoodle reason for wanting to burn Martin Luther King's house? Like, what's going on, lady? Jesus Christ. Anyway, that's just something I wanted to bring up because I haven't seen much about that lately. So interesting stuff. Let's see what else we've got here in the old news bucket. Before we switch over to pop culture news. So, one other thing I didn't see much about, but I wanted to kind of bring up as well. This one was interesting. So apparently, Amazon's back on the union busting kick. We're gonna watch this little article here, this clip here. Apparently in Kentucky, they're trying to terminate union busting activities.
This morning, a groundbreaking lawsuit. The Federal Trade Commission and 17 states are suing Amazon, claiming the online retail giant has created a monopoly.
They're claiming that Amazon punishes vendors if they offer their products for a lower price on a competing website. They also are forcing or allegedly forcing these vendors to use their logistics, their warehousing, their shipping.
The suit claims Amazon deters rivals and punishes sellers from lowering prices on other sites by making them invisible in search results. The $1.3 trillion company is accused of prioritizing search results for its own products and coercing sellers to use Amazon's fulfillment service. Nicholas Parks is the president of SnapFoods.com and has been selling on Amazon for 21 years.
We have to more than double our prices in order to compensate for all the fees, in order to break even, basically. It's created a very difficult retail market for anybody in the retail business.
Amazon firing back, defending its practices and saying if the FTC gets its way, the result would be fewer products to choose from, higher prices, slower deliveries for consumers, and reduced options for small businesses. The law.
Okay. Hold on. Okay. Here are the reasons. Okay. Fewer products, higher prices, slower deliveries, reduced options. Okay. This is bullshit. Okay. First of all, we are getting fewer products to choose from because of Amazon. Because the fact is, Amazon is undercutting people. They are literally, I'm not kidding, literally when people sign up to sell on their platform, they force them to sell the lowest possible price. And on top of that, more often than not, if it's a good, well-selling product, Amazon's just going to copy it. And they're going to put it on Amazon Basics and sell it. So we know, we've been new. Sorry, sipping my coffee. So first, we already have fewer products. Second, we already have higher prices because, frankly, once Amazon manages to kick out the competition on a particular market or particular product, well, that's when the prices start to go up. Because now they don't have to worry about, oh, we don't have a competitor anymore. We don't have to worry about anybody. Everybody's just buying this shit off of us. So now we're going to jack those prices up all the way up. Slower deliveries. That's their other point. I don't mind a slower delivery, frankly. I don't want next day shipping. Like, I don't need next day shipping, okay? It's really more of what I'm trying to say. I don't need it. Most people don't need next day shipping. Ask yourself, like, a human being that's listening to this show right now. Do you need next day shipping? Is it a necessity? Can you live without it? I mean, I understand it for things like medicine, for example, or like an important legal document or something that needs to get signed. I don't know, something like that. Sure, I can understand that. I don't disagree with that. But like, think about it. You really need that. You really need that blanket that you ordered next day. Do you really need like all that fucking food that you ordered, those canned goods next day? No, you don't. Do you need your cat food next day, or do you need your fucking light, like glow in the dark fucking stickers and stars and shit next day? No, this is all crap you don't need. Okay, you don't need it. Anyway, reduced options for small businesses. Oh, come on.
Lawsuit
that
filed
just
by the
goes
FTC
back to the early
is
one.
wrong on the facts and the law. The suit had long been expected, with the head of the FTC vowing to rein in tech companies, but the legal strategy is far from a sure bet.
Linda Kahn, who's bringing this suit, has a long-time history of being a critic of Amazon. Her anti-competitive views don't always sit well with the courts. A couple of cases she brought, namely against Microsoft and Facebook's parent company Meta, were thrown out.
Okay, and this is because our Supreme Court is fucking packed with assholes. It's just because it's packed with corporate cronies. That's why. Sorry, that's just the long and short of it. The Supreme Court sucks. And it's never going to fucking side with the workers unless we make them. Anyway, it looks like apparently 11 workers have received warnings of possible terminations in the recent weeks. One person here, ABC News is reporting this, by the way. Gomez, looks like Ruby Gomez, works at an Amazon facility in Kentucky. She's quoted as saying that she received a bunch of frantic text messages. They were the kind of messages you would get if somebody was in a panic. She got messages from her coworkers, apparently, because managers had been confronting employees, handing out union materials in the parking lot, checking their identification, apparently setting up. They were apparently alleging that some tables that were set up in the entrance that they were, working from, where it was like insubordination or something like that. Anyway. Bad times. Very bad times. So let's keep moving. We have a few more minutes on the news section, so I'll see if there's anything else interesting to bring up. One of those things I did want to bring up was some of Trump's statements, since he's, always relevant in the news. Apparently, Trump's vow to only be a dictator on day one follows growing worry over his authoritarian rhetoric, reports the AP. What did he say exactly? Let's see. As Trump faces growing scrutiny over his increasingly authoritarian and violent rhetoric, Fox News host Sean Hannity gave his longtime friend a chance to assure the American people he wouldn't abuse power or seek retribution if he wins a second term. God, he's got such a mug. Apparently, he stoked fires instead. He says, except for day one, I want to close the border and I want to drill. Trump said of Hannity, we love this guy. He says, you're not going to be a dictator, are you? I said, no. Other than day one. We're closing the border and we're drilling. After that, I'm not a dictator. After that, huh? Okay. Anyway, do we have any clips on this one? I kind of wanted to see him say it, but no big deal. Anyway, he's being ridiculous. I mean, we already knew that he was a proto-fascist or a pseudo-fascist. We already knew that he was interested in dictatorships. I mean, he loves fucking dictators. It just makes sense. It just all makes sense. I'm not surprised. me see if I have linked like an article though, with a clip in it. I think I do actually. Hang on. Do I? Oh, here we go. Hang on. I'll play this clip for us.
Republican presidential candidates are taking part in a debate, but it's the frontrunner who won't be on stage who's back in the spotlight. Garrett Hake is in Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Tonight, just hours from another Republican debate that he is skipping, frontrunner Donald Trump dominating headlines with this answer about abuse of power.
Do you in any way have any plans whatsoever, if reelected president, to abuse power, to break the law, to use the government to go after people?
You mean like they're using right now?
Pressed later.
You would never abuse power as retribution against anybody.
Except for day one.
Except
Look,
what?
he's going crazy. Except for day one.
Meaning?
I want to close the border and I want to drill.
That's
drill,
not. That's
drill.
That's not.
No, no.
He's not even sitting on a stool for. Have you seen that? Hold on.
That's not retribution.
You know what? I mean,
Not,
if you're listening to this, you're not
drill.
gonna see it. But like, oh shit, hang on. Look at him. Look at how he's sitting. He's not even. He doesn't even have his whole ass on the seat. Do you see this shit? Look at this. I mean, neither of them do. They're both kind of just falling off of their chairs. But fucking, this guy's got one ass cheek on the fucking chair, man. What is he doing? Sorry.
I want to close the
out.
border and I want to drill.
That's
drill,
not. That's
drill.
That's not.
No, no.
That's not retribution. I got.
I'm gonna be. You know, he keeps. We love this guy. He says, "You're not going to be a dictator, are you?" I said, "No, no, no. Other than day one, we're closing the border and we're drilling, drilling, drilling. After that, I'm not a dictator." Okay?
But Mr. Trump has long
God.
promised payback against political
Tossing
opponents,
hats.
including
Tossing
vowing
hats.
to appoint a special counsel to investigate the Biden family. Tonight, a former advisor going further.
We're going to come after the people in the media who lied about American citizens. Whether it's criminally or civilly, we'll figure that out.
This as President Biden told donors Tuesday in Boston, quote, "If Trump wasn't running, I'm not sure I'd be running."
Dog,
Later-
come on. That's like the worst thing you could say. What the fuck? If Trump's not running, I'm not running. But if he is, I'm running. Like, come on, man. Just step out of the way. Let somebody fresh take the job. Come on. You're like beef jerky, man. You can't say
clarifying
that.
he'd stay in the race even if Mr. Trump did not. Many polls show former President Trump leading President
so old.
Biden
They're
in a
both
head-to-head
so old.
matchup.
I'm not the only one to read it, but I will defeat him.
Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis will share center stage at tonight's debate, each hoping to emerge as the alternative to the frontrunner who leads the GOP field by some 40 points.
We are back.
Oh, nope. We're done there. Okay. It's just so sad. At least he's so entertaining, though. He's just so entertaining. I'm not gonna be a dictator. Just on day one. Just on day one, people. Just on the first day, I'm gonna make sure everybody knows not to mess with me. On day one, I'm going to kill everybody I don't like, and then I'm going to be fine. No, it's not gonna be like. I'm sure he won't kill everybody on the first day, but maybe on the second day. We'll see. We'll see. All right. Let's see. Do we have enough time for one more? Let's see. Really quickly, want to check in on Hunter Biden before we move on. Love Hunter Biden. Love this guy. This guy, he parties hardy. Reuters is reporting apparently that Hunter Biden has been hit with federal charges for evading taxes. Hell yeah. Hey, get the fuck out of my... I don't want... Fuck off. Stupid Reuters. Shut the fuck up. Great. Is Reuters doing this to me right now? Are we doing this? You blocking my access? I'm not blocking. Ad block. Oh my god. Hang on. Give me 2 seconds. I'm just gonna history here. I love doing this. I love when ad blockers just block everything. You can't fucking do anything good. Or sorry, ad blockers, I should say. What I'm thinking of here. Oh, okay, screw it. Fuck it. We're just gonna move on. Firefox. I love Firefox. I love Reuters. Okay. Here we go. So let's switch topics. It's time anyway. Look, Hunter Biden, he got another federal charge. It's fine. You know how it goes. We love our boy. He always gets fucked up. They don't like him because they don't like Biden. But I love that guy. He's the only guy that I've ever seen so confident when it comes to like filming himself smoking crack in weird like teal colored environments. Like, actually, hang on a second. Can I find that picture of him? I want to find, before we leave, I'm going to find my favorite picture of Hunter Biden. Just because it's so fun. Where is it? Please. Blue room. Is there like, oh, there it is. Oh my God. That's the image. Okay. Oh, I love this image so much. Hold on. It's not a great quality image, but you should be able to see it here. Stupid fucking Google. I'm sorry. I'm being really annoying here. Here we go. God, I love this picture of him. He's just like, where is he? Where is he? What is this place that he's in? He's like in the Independence Day like mothership. Like, they've got him in the alien tanks, and they're like, okay, we're gonna study Hunter, and we're gonna figure out how we can beat the humans. But he's like superhuman. He's got none of the qualities of like a regular human. So they have all of their like data is skewed and completely off. So when they do come to invade, they're like, okay, we're gonna use the Hunter Biden data to fight the humans, and then boom, nothing works. God, I don't know. This image, I want to be there. I want to be sitting in this like weird pool room with this guy. And I just want to know what he's thinking, you know? That's just kind of where I'm at. Anyway, enough of that. It's time to move on to our next segment. What's going on, a big booming voice? Tell me, what are we doing next?
Popular Culture Barometer. It's time for the weather report.
All right, let's switch it over, baby. All right. Thank you, everybody. Welcome to What's Popping. What's Popping is where we discuss pop culture, the internet, streaming, and more. So we're going to check out what's the goss, what's the hot news right now, before we get to some of our questions in the later segment. So let's see what's going on right now. Speaking of, I mean, this is less news. I mean, this is kind of news and kind of pop culture, but I feel like it fits in the pop culture department. He's in the news again, but again, we got to talk about him because he's just being stupid. Cybertruck. Tesla Cybertruck. Stiff structure, sharp design, raise safety concerns, says experts, according to Reuters. Recent release. Apparently the Cybertruck is coming out. People are going to be able to buy it, pre-order it, shit like that. But, of course, people are saying that it's not safe. The Reuters is reporting here, the angular design of Tesla's Cybertruck is safety experts concerned. The electric pickup trucks, stiff stainless steel exoskeleton, could hurt pedestrians and cyclists and damage other vehicles on roads. That is, wow. Are you kidding me? Okay, so for context, folks, if I'm remembering correctly, most cars from like the 50s, 60s up to like I think the 70s and 80s were made of like steel. And they were really heavy, and so they would survive most impacts. However, people inside the cars wouldn't, because they're made of steel. They're not made to crumple or not made to like absorb any of the impact. So all the impact energy ends up getting transferred over from. Sorry, I didn't have this article pulled up on my screen. All the energy gets transferred over from the car impacting you to the passenger, you know. So when you're having that impact, all that energy goes straight to the passenger. They get flung. They end up hitting themselves on objects in the car. They end up hitting themselves against window screens and frames. I mean, even if they don't hit any, even if they don't take damage from inside the car, they're going to get concussive damage from the impact itself. So terrible times. But let's see what else they have to report here. Reuters spoke to 6 safety professors and officials who viewed videos of crash tests conducted by Tesla on its first vehicle in nearly 4 years. Crash test videos were heavily discussed on social media. Experts who spoke to Reuters said they needed crash test data to reach firm conclusions about safety. Apparently, Tesla is touting the structure of the truck as being able to absorb impact during the crash. Let's see. What else do they have to say? The first car with a stainless steel exterior since the launch of the DeLorean car in 1985. The material has even broken the stamping machines that form the panels, according to Musk. Oh my god. They're apparently using cold-rolled stainless steel body panels. So there's some red flags in the crash they're reporting. Let's see. You're in a crash with another vehicle that has a crumple zone, and your car's more stiff, then their cars are going to crush, and yours is resistant. That's the other thing. I didn't even think about that. Okay. So all the cars, pretty much all the cars on the market right now are made to crumple. They have like light materials. They're made of like aluminum and things like that. They're made to crumple in a specific way, so that basically, like, if I'm not mistaken, the internal frame that houses the passengers is made of something very resistant. So it's not going to crumple, and it's going to keep people safe inside of the car. But everything else around the car, the paneling, the engine, the trunk area, the doors, all of that stuff is made to crumple so it can absorb the energy that's getting sent into it. But if your other car is resistant and it's going to slam jam into another car, it's going to go through that thing. It's going to kill somebody. It's definitely going to kill somebody with a crumple zone. That's scary. I didn't even think about that consideration. Let's see. EU safety rules. Top Gear. Top Gear is reporting the EU safety rules. They're worried that it's going to be limiting. Hold on, actually. Okay. Tesla's not said whether it will sell Cybertrucks in Europe, but its chief engineer this month told motoring publication Top Gear that EU safety rules aimed at protecting pedestrians by limiting external protrusions could make it tough to sell there. Okay. That's what they're saying. So we hope Tesla don't bring this vehicle to Europe. A vehicle of this size, power, and huge weight will be lethal to pedestrians and cyclists in a collision, the Brussels-based nonprofit European Transport Safety Council said in a statement. U.S. regulators rely on vehicle makers to self-test and certify their adherence to safety standards. Fucking sad. Isn't that ridiculous, by the way? Europe has rules, and they say, we don't want this truck because it's dangerous, too big, and too scary for us. America instead is like, nah, just test it yourself. You're fine. Go test it yourself, and if you think it fits those safety standards, you're fine. It's so fucking stupid. So yeah, don't buy a Cybertruck, people. Don't do it. You're probably gonna get killed, and if you don't get killed, the person you hit is gonna get killed. So don't do it. Also, one more point: American trucks are humongous, and they're a safety hazard because of that size. Frankly, I think that Americans' obsessions with big trucks and big engines and big everything is going to cause more harm than good at the end of the day, because you're just going to have a huge car that you won't be able to see pedestrians in front of you. You won't be able to see shit in front of you that you're driving over. It's going to be way too big, so it's going to be a roll hazard. I mean, everything about it is bad. So yeah, not good. Not good. Let me sip my coffee here really quickly before we move on to the next story. Okay. We love sipping sounds on the cast, don't we? All right, let's get to some stream news. Big story out recently from South Korea. Looks like Twitch can no longer afford to stay there. Twitch, which will shut down in South Korea early next year, try to migrate streamers to YouTube Africa and other platforms, according to QZ.com reports. Let's see here. According to Twitch, they're shutting down February 27th of next year. Ultimately, Dan Clancy is quoted here as saying, ultimately, the cost to operate Twitch in Korea is prohibitively expensive. He says that still 10 times more expensive than in most other countries. Apparently, the network fees are really high there. Let's see. South Korea is a thriving community of gamers and streamers. One of those streamers, Yummy_2, I should say, has 30,000 followers and is mostly English speaking, but apparently had to host an emergency live stream to divert followers to YouTube, because apparently, people are starting to already drop off at this point. Let's see. Okay, so apparently in 2016, South Korea introduced what's called the Sending Party Network Pays Law. According to this law, internet service... hold on. It's an internet traffic tax, apparently. Initially, internet service providers had to pay each other. Then it was extended to big internet companies. So basically, the party that sends the data over the internet to an end user has to pay a fee to the telecom company the user is actually using to actually have that content delivered, which is pretty fucking wild. Apparently, Cloudflare was also talking about it in 2016. Google and Netflix were contesting it. Meta was contesting it. Yeah. Netflix was the most recent sparring partner in 2020. They apparently took issue with the South Korean court. And they apparently argued that they had no obligation to pay or negotiate. That was rejected in 2021. And yeah, apparently that's where we're at now. I don't know how I feel about this necessarily. I mean, on the one hand, oh, hang on, Sordior. Hi, Sordior. Welcome to the chat. Hope you're doing well. Sordior says they are aiming for the zombie apocalypse or civil uprising or something. Audience, I'm not sure what you're referring to on that one. Are you talking about the Cybertruck or are you talking about this one? Anyway, I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't really give a shit about whether corporations have to spend more money. I think they could probably afford to pay this tax. The Cybertruck. Okay, yeah, going back to the Cybertruck, Sordier says they're aiming for the zombie apocalypse or civil uprising. Hey, you know what? That makes sense, actually, now that I think about it. You know, if you're going to try and survive out in the rough world of the post-apocalypse, you want something that can really just shred apart zombies and mutants and we'll survive, you know? Although, I actually, now that I think about it, if it's a Tesla, I don't think that it's going to even, like, I don't even think it's going to function in the zombie apocalypse. Doesn't it need, like, an internet connection? I mean, it has an app store built into it where you can buy fart sounds for your horn. Like, you can have a fart sound Tesla. Like, I don't know if the Cybertruck's gonna be the thing to do it. Oh boy. Anyway, let's see here. Back to my point earlier about the network fees. Frankly, I think Twitch could probably afford it. I mean, frankly, Amazon could afford these network fees if they're just charging a tax to, like, I don't know where this tax goes. I don't know. I don't have enough information about where this tax goes. But if this tax is going to support people in the country, I don't give a shit about whether or not Amazon has to pay more. Frankly, I think it's rather sad that they're cutting and running like this. There's some ways they apparently tried to save costs. Apparently, for a year now, Twitch has throttled source quality to 720p. And apparently, they've done a peer-to-peer model to try and work around the actual telecoms. Apparently, it needs an IP address to be shared, though, and it increases the threat of cyber attacks. So, lovely. Not really a good Band-Aid solution there. But yeah, looks like February 27th. That's when things are no longer going to be running, I think. Pretty sad. Let's see here. Here's a quote from Nick DeCesar, also known as LS. He's been a part of the Korean gaming community for over 10 years. Started with StarCraft, transitioned to League of Legends. Dude's got almost 660,000 followers on Twitch and 348,000 on YouTube. That's a staggering amount. That's more than 500,000 people following on Twitch. And LS is saying, my heart breaks for many of the Korean creators who managed to find so much success on this platform and the communities they built. While some will likely be okay after switching to YouTube or back to Africa or something else, this is still so scary for them. Twitch Korea did such a phenomenal job when it came into the country years ago where Africa was dominating hard. I actually wonder if some of the big Korean creators will do what happened to poker players on April 15th, 2011. Some of the mega creators could probably move to Japan, Thailand, Hong Kong, etc., and just stream live from there, or stream live from there. This would be similar to how USA online poker players moved to Canada/Mexico to keep playing online after Poker Black Friday. Sordier says, yeah, this sucks. I agree. I mean, this does suck a lot. At the end of the day, this just hurts a lot of people that are relying on a service that they have no say over. A lot of Korean streamers are getting the shaft here. Not necessarily because of anything they've done. I mean, to be fair, this is partly the government. I mean, of course, the government is just trying to make money and to fund its support services for people and to fund its you know, it needs money. It does. It needs taxes at the end of the day. I can't really argue against that. But I mean, this is ultimately Twitch's responsibility. They're not willing to pay the money to keep Korea involved, and I think that's to their own loss. I mean, it makes me worry what's going to happen with Twitch in the future. I mean, if you're not willing to spend money on one of the biggest, most technologically connected communities on the planet, keep them involved. I mean, it makes me worry. Like, am I going to have to, am I going to have to worry about this at some point? I mean, I know I live in the Imperial Core. I probably don't have to worry about that, but still, like, what about YouTube Live? Like, what about other things? Like, do I need to broaden my horizons a bit more here? Because clearly it seems like Twitch is interested in revenue and not in supporting a community. And I mean, their business, that's kind of how that goes. But I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. At the end of the day, it just really hurts a lot of people. And that's the thing that I worry about the most is where are those people going to go? What are those people going to do? And I don't think Twitch has an answer for them except to say, fuck off and go somewhere else then. So that's kind of how it is, apparently. Anyway, let's see what else we got here. I want to find one with a good clip. If I can find one with a good clip for us. Let's see here. Give me a second. We got a few of them here. Oh, maybe we could do this one. Okay. Here's another fun piece of streamer news for us to go over. This one is coming from Dexerto. They're reporting Ludwig, famous streamer YouTuber Ludwig, threatens to leave YouTube for Twitch if changes aren't made. Oh my God! So again, with the back and forth, there's this balkanized kind of social media environment where we have so many different like companies competing for attention. Really does kind of drive this back and forth of which one are you going to go to? Which is going to be better for you at the end of the day. And I think this is one of those situations. So we do have a clip here, but I'll read a little bit of the context. Currently, Ludwig has been streaming, Ludwig Agren has been streaming on YouTube Gaming for over 2 years. And he's been reflecting on that experience after leaving Twitch. I know a lot of people have left Twitch to go over to YouTube. For example, I think Moist Critical recently ended his contract and ended up switching over to YouTube instead and has been enjoying it a lot. A few other people have been making the switch as well. Apparently, let's see here. He had an exclusive 2-year deal, the Ludwig, with YouTube Gaming. The contract ended in November 2023, so last month. Fans have been wondering what's next, and he actually released a video recently. According to him, he felt more appreciated by YouTube than by Twitch. Made him feel like a person. That made him feel seen. Let's see what else he has to say here.
This feels a little weird, but I'm back to streaming on Twitch. It's been a couple of years since I dropped this video where I blew up a damn car.
The whole thing. It's like 9.
How I announced that I was leaving Twitch
like
to start streaming on YouTube, which was a big deal for me and I guess nerds who care about live streaming, because I had done some cool things on Twitch. I was the most subscribed to live streamer at one point, and I had left for a relatively unproven platform, YouTube.
I mean, his fucking subathons were insane. I mean, he went for days and days and days and days.
In one of my first mogul mails ever, a video that kind of started this whole channel, and it basically got clipped into a bunch of dramatic YouTube shorts.
I had flipped a coin, and heads was Twitch, tails was YouTube, and it had gone with heads.
And the skinny of it is that I felt more appreciated by YouTube than I did by Twitch. They made me feel like a person. They made me feel seen. It felt like our goals were aligned. In Twitch, it felt like I was another cog in the
Sordior says, never heard of him. Yeah, no worries. He's a pretty big deal. I think he really rose to prominence a lot with his subathons, because I think he went for like a month straight where he was just constantly streaming, and constantly people just kept subbing and he just kept staying on, and that really drove a lot of his growth, if I remember correctly. He's in The Yard now, his new podcast. I don't know how new it is, but he's on The Yard. That's his thing. If you know QTCinderella, they're dating. They're a thing. So that's kind of where their connection is.
And it didn't hurt that YouTube was also offering me more money. But now the 2 years is up, and I'm going back to Twitch.
Okay.
Part-time. All right, let me explain. Okay, when I went back to YouTube to do the re-signing, I realized that my goals are not to make the most money possible. My goals are not to get the highest average viewership possible. My goal, simply put, is to do really cool events that I think are cool and also dope, and also have them be seen by the most amount of people. The biggest cultural event possible. If I want to pour my heart into something, I want it to be seen by others. I don't even care if it makes money. Don't tell the people that offering that, but it's true. And I'm capping myself if I'm only streaming these events on YouTube or if I'm only streaming them on Twitch. It'd be a lot better if I stream them on both. And so
I think that makes sense. And I'm not going to go too much in this. You can watch this on his channel if you want to take a look a bit more into it. But I agree. You know, at the end of the day, he's got the financial stability to be able to do whatever the hell he wants. He's got the audience. He's got the attention on him. He can do whatever the hell he wants to at this point and make it happen. And he doesn't need to kowtow to any contracts or anything at this point. He doesn't need to make a shit ton of money to justify his existence as a creator. You know, he can just make shit, and I think that's great. And you know, good for him. Go stream on both. Do your thing, man. Get eyes on your shit, man. That's all I gotta say. Is do your thing. Don't let the money be the thing that decides it for you. And you know, I can say that to him. I can say that to Ludwig. He's probably not listening, of course, but you know, I could say that about Ludwig. You know, do your thing, man. You made it practically. Do what you want. A lot of people don't have that option, so I understand. You know, sometimes you got to take that contract. You got to take those ducats so you can survive, so you can keep making the work that you like to work on. But you know, if you make it into a position like that, if you've managed to get through your contract, you've managed to build a community and a following, it's time. You can just cut and run, go do your thing. Who cares anymore, right? You got people that like you. You got people that are willing to support you at this point. Make what you like. So I think, good stuff. That's great. I love hearing that. Good for you, my friend. Good for you. All right, let's see where we're at now. What's another good one we got here? We can stay on this here. You know, QTCinderella, related person in this conversation. Different news though. Apparently, QTCinderella on Sportskeeda, where it's being reported that QTCinderella has announced her departure from Misfit Gaming. This is a pretty big development. A lot of people didn't see this one coming. Misfits Gaming, pretty well known. They're kind of a large collective of folks out there making content. Who's on that? It's like what? I know. Oh God, what is it? What's his name? What is that guy's name? Why am I forgetting his name? Okay, well, we have a list of people here who are in Misfits Gaming, so that's fine. We have Carl Jacobs, classic grilled cheese Carl. We got Austin Show. Love Austin Show. Shout out to Austin. Tubbo and Rambo are on there as well. Yeah, a lot of folks are on that. Forget who founded that. Who founded Misfits? Who founded Misfits Gaming? Talk to me, Wikipedia. God, why cannot I find who is on this? Who started it? I should know this. It's like off the top of my head. I know who started it. I just don't remember. Okay, it doesn't matter. Anyway, a lot of people are involved in this thing. People are pretty shocked this happened. Let's see what she has to say. So, her tweet reads, "As of today, I'm no longer with Misfits GG. This past year, I was able to do incredible things thanks to them. Without their support, I wouldn't have been able to do half as many events. Sadly, we're parting ways. No drama whatsoever. They just no longer have space for me on their team. Appreciate everything they did of time over the past year." Yeah, interesting. I don't know what that really means. I know she's been involved in a lot of projects. I think she did, what was it, Streamer Awards? Was that what she was responsible for? She's got a couple podcasts. I know she's on Fear and. But yeah, a lot of people didn't expect that to come out of that. Oh yeah, Shit Camp. She did Shit Camp. She did the Streamer Awards. It's got over nearly 1 million fans. So big news. But yeah. I wish her luck. I hope she finds something cool. I think it's a lot of these like kind of collectives. I think it's great to be with them for a while, but eventually, if it's not really doing it for you, you kind of have to cut ties and move on and find something else for yourself. And I feel like these collectives can really be a place where you grow yourself and what you want to do, and then you can really start to like open your wings, start to really take off and fly in different directions. And I think that's great. So best of luck. I hope that goes well for her. Yeah, let's see what else we got here. We have a little more time in our current events situation here. I do need to pee really quickly, so we're going to take a quick intermission break here. But before I do so, what do we do? Big, loud, booming voice. What do we recommend to everybody?
This is the big booming voice letting you know to follow and subscribe to Kahtide.
That's right. Make sure you follow, you subscribe, let people know about the content. I always appreciate if you shout me out to other people. We'll be right back. Enjoy this intermission. I will be gone for just a moment, but then we'll be right back with maybe one or two more pop culture articles, and then we'll hit some questions from the audience. If you have any questions, if you want to submit a question, you can do so through the channel points there. Ooh, and a gifted sub. Thank you so much, Sordior. Thank you for gifting a tier 1 sub to Kid Kazma. Love Kid Kazma. Hope they're having a good day as well. And I hope you're having a good day as well too, Sordior. Thank you so much. All right, folks. Be right back. Thank you so much for watching Coffee with Kahtide. We are not done yet, so stick around. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Welcome back to Coffee with Kahtide. It's me, Kahtide. How you doing out there, folks? Hope you're having a good one out there on this lovely Sunday. We are talking a few more pieces of news in terms of pop culture. So do stick around. I'm going to see what else we have here in terms of interesting news to cover. Oh, this one's one, a little touchstone, a little callback to something that we all remember. So AP News is reporting a milestone for Notre Dame, 1 year until cathedral reopens to public after devastating fire. So apparently, we all forgot about this, but in 2019, Notre Dame ended up burning down. And a lot of people had said that they were going to contribute a lot of money and did not to try and fix it. But now, finally, looks like 1 year until the cathedral reopens its doors to the public on December 8th, 2024. Looks like that's the new thing. They're going to finally reopen it, let people come back in, take a look. They're going to hand it back over to the priests, employees, the chorus, the worshipers. Everything will go back. Very interesting. Very interesting stuff. Glad to hear that they finally gotten that repaired. It looks good. It looks pretty good. Let's take a look at this image here. Look at that. It's actually looking pretty nice. I don't remember how bad it looks. Hold on. How bad did it look earlier? Current. Let's see. Okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember how bad that was. Look at that. Yeah. Completely torched that back end there. Absolutely awful. But yeah, so that's fun news. Fun, good thing to touch on. Looks like they've repaired most of the damage. Windows are coming back in place here. Very beautiful stuff. Sad it's in France. But anyway, very good, very good. Oh, apparently people had to pray outside of the cathedral. So hilarious. Religious people, they be like that though. They be like that. All right. That one's that's Notre Dame. That's one thing I want to touch on. Here's one other neat piece of news for all you Swifties out there. I know you love hearing about this. Taylor Swift's Eras Tour, first tour to gross over $1 billion. Pretty impressive, huh? Let's see here. Is this an actual clip? Success clearly belongs to Taylor Swift this year. Blah, blah, blah. Concert trade publication Polestar says Taylor Swift's Eras Tour, first tour to ever cross the $1 billion mark. Yeah, there's no fun clips here. Anyway, this is not a surprise. I mean, she's a fucking moneymaker, but boy, oh, howdy. This is a lot of money. 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 4.35 million tickets, $1.04 billion. Sorry, Swordier's responding to the last point about Notre Dame. Don't need a church to pray, but I'm not an expert, but I think in Catholicism, believed on the priest only the priest can do so. Oh, are you saying that only a priest can pray without a church? I guess that would make sense. You know, if the priest is like, you know, the touch point between, you know, the like real like life and God, I guess, then that would make sense that he's the guy that doesn't need a church to pray, but a lot of people might need it. I don't know. Maybe that's the case. Who knows? Anyway, not my bag. That ain't my bag, unfortunately. I don't know that shit. I don't have a religious studies background, unfortunately. Anyway, I'm not surprised that Taylor Swift earned $1 billion. I mean, it's the year of billionaires. Frankly, it's the decade of billionaires. But like, my God, come on, people. Do you really need? Is this really something you need to go to a Taylor Swift concert? You really need it that badly that you gotta pay $1 billion over to her and her team and to everybody associated with her? I mean, look, I'm gonna probably piss some Swifties off by saying this, but she's a fucking industry plant. I mean, didn't her dad own like multiple businesses and like a Christmas tree farm, and like didn't he end up like moving the whole family to Nashville so that she could perform, and then she got passed over anyway, so then he bought like a share of the record company that she ended up getting signed to? Like, isn't that the whole like story behind her and how she rose to prominence anyway? I mean, it's not even anything that she really did. It's a lot of things that other people did for her and paid for her to do. So sad times, you know, a lot of people getting the thing that saddens me the most is how many people get passed over who are so creative and so talented, and yet this sort of shit just gets put up on stage, and that's $1 billion because your daddy had a lot of money and he could pay for it so that you could get all the training you needed and get all the connections you needed to be a super famous superstar. Yeah, I just don't really like Taylor Swift or her music, or the fact that she is an industry plant, and especially I don't like the fact that she has a fucking practically a private jet rental service underneath her that people can use that pump CO2 into the atmosphere. It's just really sad. Anyway, just wanted to be a hater and criticize. So there we go. That's my hater moment. Let's see. What's our last little? Let's find one more little news article here to cover before we wrap up our pop culture section and move on to the questions. Once again, if you want to submit a question, you can do so via the channel points, or you can submit a question anonymously via the Google form link that I've included in the stream and in my link tree. Oh shit! Come on, fuck you. There we go. Ad blocker. I'll fix it next time. I don't give a shit. Okay, here's our news article. McDonald's is opening a new chain called Cosmix. I've recently heard about this. I don't really know what to make of it. Apparently, they're doing a new kind of coffee drink kind of angle. It's supposed to compete against Starbucks and Dunkin' as to try and boost their sales. Really sad, frankly. Do we really need another fucking coffee chain? And a shitty one at that? I mean, I'm not expecting Cosmix to be great, frankly. If it's gonna be anything like the McCafe, it's gonna be mediocre coffee that is acceptable in a pinch. Frankly, it's just gonna be fast food coffee. Look. Here's what I'm gonna say. If you have a Cosmix near you, if you're in Illinois, by the way, this is the first location. If you're in Illinois and you have a chance to try the Cosmix, tell me if it's any good. But I'm not holding my breath. Let's see what they have in their menu. Churro frappe, s'mores cold brew, sour cherry energy burst. What is this shit? Turmeric spiced latte, island pick me up punch. My God, this is just like, okay. Frankly, this just feels like they were like, okay, what does Starbucks sell like hotcakes? Frappuccinos. What should we make all of our drinks like? Frappuccinos. And then they did that. Oh, and also, we're gonna steal from Jamba Juice, and we're gonna make like fucking frappe shit with like fruit and shit in it. Okay, this is stupid. Look, and it's just fucking, it's the same shit. Okay, it's literally just McDonald's but Starbucks. It's so sad. This is really sad. Oh, and they've got the white tile in the background. Oh, they've got that white rectangular tile in the background that tells you, oh, it's fancy. Oh, this is some upscale bougie shit, bitch. You're gonna get some upscale bougie coffee, bitch. Sordier says, I mean, it's just coffee and smoothies, just different names. I mean, yeah, exactly. It's just coffee and smoothies, just different names. But it's McDonald's, and it's just more of that corporate, conglomeration, corporate fucking. They're digging their roots into my wallet even further. They're digging into American society even more by just adding another coffee. I'm just complaining. Okay, you know what? I'm just complaining. Fanciness Square. I don't know what Fanciness Square is. Anyway, that's what I think we'll wrap up here. Don't go to Cosmix. If you do go to Cosmix, tell me what it's like. But frankly, I'm not holding my breath on anything being good here. Oh my God. Ugh, my God, churro frappe, s'mores cold brew, turmeric spice latte. Ugh. Anyway, okay, enough of that. Let's switch gears. I think it's time for our question section. Wouldn't you say so? Let's hop on over. Wouldn't you say so? What do you think? What do you think, a big booming voice? What time is it?
You've got questions, we've got answers. Tell them, Kahtide.
Let's do it! Woo! Thank you, everybody. Dancing emote, I love it. All right, welcome back, everybody. We're in our final little section here. questions with Kahtide. So this is a little bit of a audience interaction moment. I like to give folks a chance to send some questions in. Hey, if you've got like problems in your life, if you need advice, if you need help with something, you can submit anonymously, or you can submit a question through the Twitch chat using channel points or chips. So you can submit live and get it answered in front of everybody else. If you're sending in questions via chips, you get first priority on getting your question answered. But please do remember, don't submit bigoted or distasteful questions, or you will face my wrath. By wrath, I mean I will delete your question and ban you. So be nice. Other than that, feel free to ask any kind of question you really have, especially if you're looking for advice on life, love, and labor. Yeah. So looks like we don't have anything in the current chips box, but let me see what we have in our anonymous box. See what we can answer for somebody out there. Yeah, let's see. Okay. We have one in our anonymous box. What is your advice for aspiring game developers? This is a great question. Thank you so much for the question, anonymous submitter. As a game developer myself, and also if you want to check out my game development project really quickly, that's going to be salvedevelopment.com, SALVE development.com. I am making my own 2D RTS called Sav. And you can see some videos and stuff up there. Exciting stuff. But anyway, to get to your question, anonymous submitter, my advice for aspiring game developers, I mean, there's a lot of things I could definitely recommend in this case. I will say this. It's here's the thing I'm going to say about game development. It takes a long time. It's going to take a long, long time. Even for the smallest of projects, it's going to take you a long time. It's going to feel like it's taking too long, even. I have been working on Sav for probably 5 or 6 years now, I think, on and off. To be fair, most of that time has been unfortunately taken up by having to work full time as a wage cuck. So I haven't had the chance to really put all of my effort and all of I haven't had time to put my whole ass into this project like I would like to. And that's actually part of why, I do the streaming stuff and why I rep my game all the time and try and talk to people out there in the wide world and let them know what's going on with me. Because you kind of have to get that word out there a little bit. That's one piece of advice I would say. If you want people to pay attention to your work, you have to share it a lot. And even then, there's no there's no guarantee that you're going to have people like keeping an eye on it, really. I mean, to tell you the truth, there's not that many people watching my project right now, and I hope that changes in the future. I really do. But that's one piece of advice I would recommend is don't expect everybody to be interested in what you're working on right away. I would say most people don't really know what to say when you're working on a game. Unless they're somebody who loves video games or is a game developer themselves, they might not know what to ask or what to say about it. So that can be kind of hard. It can kind of feel like you're working in obscurity sometimes if you don't really have a community of people that also are into game development. That would be one piece of advice as well I'd give you is if you know other people who are into game development, if you have a community of people that are interested in it, or like maybe there's like a local group or something like that you can get involved in, that I would definitely recommend. I mean, it's not for everybody. I mean, I personally have kind of been more of a solo developer and haven't really collaborated that much with a lot of people, but I mean, it helps. It does help, like having somebody to bounce ideas off of and to chat with and to have like interesting conversations about gaming and maybe even to have somebody work on your project with you. I mean, those are all really cool things, and definitely that community can be a real asset. But ultimately, I think the biggest piece of advice I could give any developer is build your willpower, build your resilience, build your resolve. Game development is hard. There's a reason why so many people want to do it, but there's also a reason why so many people drop out of doing it. I mean, I'm not even working. This is not even a AAA project. This is just a little indie project I'm working on my own in my spare time because I like doing it. But people have to work these sorts of jobs. People work game development jobs. And how many times have we heard people talk about burnout, talk about crunch? Just how many stories do we hear about people like not being able to spend time with their family or their spouses because they're working on a video game that they have to get put out within a certain amount of time? Like, it's hard. I mean, if you're working in the AAA space, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, you already know how bad it is out there, and I'm impressed with your level of work and your commitment to the art form. I really am. But if you're working indie or if you have a small team, like you're gonna have to work a long time, long hours, and it's gonna be hard, and you're gonna have points where you're stuck. I mean, I'm doing all of the work myself, so like I get stuck on programming. I'm not a programmer necessarily. I picked it up because I didn't know any programmers and I wanted to do the work, and it's hard. Sometimes you get stuck on it. Like it's gotten easier over the years because I've gotten better at it and I kind of know what I need to do to make certain things happen in my game. But once you're starting out, you don't know what you're doing and you're just like, okay, what is if else like what are these statements? I don't get it. Like if this then that, like what is a switch? Like what's a variable? Like how do I use an array? Like blah blah blah. Like all this stuff, you know, like it's all stuff you have to take a lot of time to learn, and it takes time for your brain to rewire itself so you can understand it. Same with graphics. Like if you need to draw things, if you need to make music or sound effects, sometimes I just have to stop and I have to be like, okay, I don't know what I'm doing here with this programming problem. I'm gonna switch gears. I'm gonna do something else. You just can't give up. It's easy to get into a point where you feel like you have to stop and you don't know what to do and you get stuck. The killer to a project is stopping, is giving up, is not continuing. You have to keep going. It's really it. I mean, obviously take a break when you need to, take a step back when you need to, but don't quit. Come back. If you need a break, come back. Because like giving up is what kills projects and what stops you from being a game developer and stops you from putting out games. So don't give up. Keep going. Just don't give up. I hope that helps, anonymous submitter. That's my response here. That's my advice I would recommend. And if you are interested in sharing some of the game development work you're doing, I would love to see it. So consider whispering me, Anon. I would love to hear about it. Let's see here. Let's move on to another anonymous question. Who are your favorite streamers? Would you consider collaborating with any of them? Oh, this is a good question. I mean, this is definitely Twitch relevant. I think I would have an pretty easy time answering this question. So there are a few streamers and like YouTubers and content creators that I do follow. We got an ad break coming. Oh, actually, we have an ad break in progress right now. Sorry, folks. My OBS did not warn me, so we're gonna sit tight for just a moment as this ad elapses. But I'll shout out myself really quickly since we're talking about streamers. Check me out on social media. I'm on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, Blue Sky, Mastodon, Discord link is below, Patreon link is below, salvedevelopment.com, SALVE development.com. Go check it out. And the ad is over. Thank you, everybody. Welcome back. So yeah, favorite streamers, would I consider collaborating with them? That was the question. So I'll start with the first question. Yeah, I do have a few. So let's see here. I wouldn't say I'm like consistent with all of these. Sometimes like I just kind of fall out of watching somebody's videos or their content or something. But like, the guy who inspired me initially to do this, besides Sordior, of course, I love you, Sordior. You're one of the big inspirations for me, by the way. Shout out to constant, beautiful, supportive chat member, VIP moderator, Sordior. We love Sordior here. So that was Sword was a big inspiration, and of course I collaborated with Sordior in the past. So and we're probably going to do that again in the future, I hope. But besides Sordior, if we're talking big names, because I don't know that any big names personally, Jay Schlatt was a big inspiration for me initially. I really liked watching a lot of Jay Schlatt's YouTube content and a lot of the VODs back in the day for like the old not Dream SMP, but the old SMP Live streams. Those were a lot of fun. Who else do I like? I mean, I watch Hassan pretty frequently. Hassan Abi, you know, get my political fix, kind of catch up on the news and stuff. I love Austin Show. Love watching some of his shows. I wish he would bring back some of the older formats. Personally, I liked Lover Host. I mean, he did do Lover Host recently, but it was more of a live Lover Host. I kind of like the more intimate kind of group chat kind of versions a little bit more, but that's okay. You know, Name Your Price is good. Love that shit. Who else? I mean, I watch a lot of different streamers and content creators, so I mean, I wouldn't say they're all my favorites, but I do like a lot of them. You know, I watch Ludwig. I've seen QTCinderella stuff. I mean, who else? Will Neff, good stuff there. Ted Nivison, love Ted Nivison. I don't know if he streams, but he does do YouTube videos, so love that. I mean, I consider streamers and YouTubers kind of the same ilk a little bit. Who else? I mean, lots of people. I mean, I would say those are kind of the biggest ones that I tend to follow the most consistently. But, I watch a lot of YouTubers as well. I mean, Philosophy Tube, ContraPoints is great, H-Bomber Guy. Who else? Like, I like some weird ones. There's like, there's some like craft YouTubers that I really like a lot, or like niche YouTubers who talk about like there's like Scalagrim who talks about sword play and like weaponry and stuff like that. Scalagrim's cool. Forgotten Weapons, love that guy. He goes deep into a lot of the lore on cool firearms and shit like that. There's like a lot of cool like whatchamacallit, refurbishing guys that like take old stuff and like refurbish it and fix it up and like strip the rust and stuff off of that. Love those guys. But anyway, I don't know. I have a pretty broad swath of people I like. I would definitely collaborate with pretty much everybody on that list, honestly. I mean, they all seem cool. I would love to have a chance to, chat and learn about them and have them learn about me. We can share some shit, But that's for the future, So we'll see. We'll see. It's an interesting question. I don't expect any collaborations anytime soon with anybody big, of course, but that could always change. In the meantime, I'm interested in meeting other people in the community who are kind of more at my level, I would say. So maybe we'll talk to some people. I mean, I'm interested in having some guests on this show as well, and that would be something. And in fact, I don't know if Kid Kazma's watching right now, but I mean, I'd be interested in interviewing Kid. Love to get to know what the dealio is there. Other people, there's all kinds of cool people. I like Be It Easel. If you like good painting streams, that's a good one. Be It Easel's cool. I think she's nice. Plenty of other people, oh god, I have a list of people, Red Headorama's cool. God, who else? I just have a whole list. I'll have to fucking pull it up. But yeah, I like people. I like people around my kind of closer to my maybe my viewer, follower, subscriber count. But if I had a chance to meet up with some of these bigger streamers, I'd love to. I'd love to chat with them. It'd be really cool. Hey, yeah. Thank you, Sordier, for the little emotes. Let's see. What else do we have here? Okay. Other anonymous questions. Let's do a funny one. Why you head so small, man? Why? Why you head so small? I love Invader Zim. I love Invader Zim. Thank you for that one. My head is not small, though. I mean, I think my head is a little bit big. Although, I think maybe my digital model has large shoulders. As you can tell, I don't know if you, for any long-time Kahtide viewers, you've probably seen that my model does change a lot. I kind of go off model a lot. I tend to imagine myself as kind of shape-shifting a little bit. So, that's kind of where it is. So if my head's small, if my head's so small right now, then maybe one day my head will be too big. Why you head too big, man? Okay, let's find another question, shall we? Let's see. Do you have any horror stories from working? Do you have any particularly nightmarish stories to share? Oh god, I mean, I have a lot of them. I've worked customer service for many years. I have many stories. Let me find one horror story for you, though. This is a pretty bad one. So I used to be a locksmith, and I did that for like 2 or 3 years. And one time, I had to drive out kind of far into the boonies, into the woods, basically, to go and help out this lady. It was like, I want to say it was like 9 or 10 p.m. I used to do night shifts as well, because it was 24-hour lock service. You had to kind of go out there whenever somebody had issues, and sometimes I just get a fucking call in the middle of the night, and they'd be like, "Okay, you got to go unlock this car." Really hated it. Really did not like doing that, but it is what it is. You got to make bills. You got to pay the bills. You got to make money. So that's what I was doing. Anyway, it's like 9:10 a.m. or not 9:10 a.m. 9:10 p.m. I am driving out to this basically this manufactured home in the middle of the forest. I go and I knock on the door. I say, "Hello, I'm the locksmith. I'm here to help fix your locks." The lady, she's like clearly distressed. She's talking to me. She's like, "Oh yeah, I had like a run-in with my abusive ex, and I need to lock him out." I need to change the keys. And this has happened before in the past to me. I've had many instances where like somebody will be like, hey, I have an abusive partner. I kick them out, but they have keys. I need to change the keys out so that they can't get in. Definitely a common problem. You know, I have sympathy for that all the time. Anyway, so I'm like rekeying her locks. I'm changing out the pins so that everything's new. She has a new key. She's really suspicious of me the whole time though, like really suspicious. And I'm doing my best to be very like polite, very kind. You know, I'm like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to disassemble your locks. I'm going to replace, etc., etc. And then we'll put them back on. You know, I gave her a price for it and everything. That's where it started to have like a problem. I gave her a price. And one thing you got to know about in many places in America, at least, locksmiths are pretty scammy and they tend to run a scammy business. And that's part of why I left the business at the end of the day, was just kind of because, you know, they tend to overcharge a lot. I mean, I was encouraged to charge, this was like, I want to say like 7-8 years ago, maybe even longer. I used to have to charge $150 for car lockouts, which is an insane amount of money, first of all, to unlock a car. And can you imagine what it must be like under inflation now? How much higher that amount has gotten? Probably more like $200, $250 at this point to unlock a car. That's like half a paycheck for somebody. That's like a quarter of a paycheck for somebody sometimes. It's crazy amount of money, but I can understand people's hesitancy. So, you know, with the rekey, it was a little more expensive. I told her that, gave her the price. She was really suspicious of me. And she was like, what she ended up doing is very weird. Like, I did the rekeying. I was like, okay, we're done with the rekeying. I'm ready to charge you. And she said, you stole my credit card. And I was like, what? What do you mean I stole your credit card? And she's like, you took it. I gave it to you when we first talked. And now you're saying that you don't have my credit card. And I'm like, no, this is not the case, lady. I did not take your credit card. You at no point gave me your credit card. And in fact, you haven't given me anything, frankly. I just did the work on the agreement that you would be paying. And she's like, no, you stole my credit card. So I'm like, I don't understand why you're talking about this. I try to like de-escalate the situation with her. I'm doing my best customer service voice with her. I'm like, you know, I could take a look through my documents here and see if maybe the card got mixed in with anything, or I can check my tools. Maybe the card got mixed in with anything. I even busted out my own wallet, pulled everything out, and was like, look, I don't happen to have your card in my wallet here. I'm checking my pockets. I don't have anything here. Everything, the whole 9 yards. At a certain point, she's just like, you took my card and I don't want you in here. And I'm like, I need to charge you because you haven't paid for the service. I call my boss. I can't get a service. I can't get a signal. My phone's dying at this point too. I don't know what to do. So at this point, I'm like, okay, you're not paying. Clearly, I can't get you to pay. You're accusing me of stealing your credit card at this point. I've already done the work. So I don't know what else to do. I'm going to leave. I'm going to try and find cell service, and I'm going to call my boss and let them know the situation. And she's like, yeah, you need to get out of here. And I'm going to call the cops because you stole my credit card. And I'm like, okay, lady, go ahead and call the cops. I did not steal your credit card, but whatever. So I think nothing of it. I leave. I drive off. I find cell service. I call my boss. I'm like, hey, this is what happened. She didn't pay. I couldn't get cell service to confirm with you, but she refused to pay, blah, blah, blah. They're like, okay, fine, whatever. We'll try and reach out to her and get the payment. Go on home. So I start heading home. I think everything's fine. I am on the freeway heading back home when lights start blinking right behind me. Cop lights. And so I have to pull over because, as it turns out, she reported my license plate to them, as well as the description of my car, and told them that I had stolen money from her. So I'm pulled over. I have two cops that flank me on the sides. They say, sir, could we talk to you, please? I have to get out of the goddamn car. I have to have them search the car. I have to have them search me. I have to explain to them the situation, that I went out there. I did the work. She accused me of stealing her credit card. I stole nothing. And I left. And I had to explain this whole situation to them on the fucking side of the road, raining. It's fucking midnight at this point, maybe 1 a.m., somewhere around that point. I'm freezing. I'm tired. I'm angry because I've been fucking like ripped off by the stupid lady. Because I get paid off commission, by the way, but on this one. This is not something I get paid hourly. I get paid commission. So I'm already getting ripped off by this lady. And she's wasting my time and these officers' times by placing a false report that I stole her credit card. So I'm there for like 20 minutes on the fucking side of the road. They search everything. I mean, I fucking hate cops. I just want to make that clear. But I will say this: at the very least, they were like reasonably polite with me, and an understanding of the situation, which is very unexpected. And frankly, if I was, I'm not gonna say what. I'm not gonna give away too much of my appearance, but if I was of a different, if I had a different appearance, I would probably have had a different time. I probably had a much worse time, frankly, if I had a different appearance. So I got away lucky on that one. But what ended up happening is they're like, okay, we're gonna go and visit her. We're gonna follow up with her. We'll let her know that we already searched you and didn't find anything, and get to the bottom of this. But yeah, so that's what ended up happening to me. So I got frisked for 20 minutes and talked to by the cops for absolutely no fucking reason. I got ripped off by this lady who accused me of stealing her credit card, most likely to avoid having to pay entirely. And then I had to drive back home and then get back to sleep at like 2 a.m. So that's probably one of my worst customer service stories. I did the work, didn't get paid, got accused of stealing, got pulled over by the cops, and then had to still drive back home and go to sleep in the middle of the fucking night. So yeah. Fuck customers. If you are a customer and you do anything like this to somebody who is out there to help you, I hope that somebody strings you up and turns you into a bloody public effigy of hubris, frankly. Yeah, Sordier says wild. Yes, that is a very wild story. And I'm sure people have had worse than that. Many, many, many people have had worse than that. But that was probably one of my worst stories. So that's what we got. That's my answer for you, Anon. Worst time, unfortunately. Worst time. Whew. Boy, that brought up some memories. Don't be a locksmith, people. It's not fun. I got into it because I thought it was really fun and interesting to like pick locks and shit like that. It's not worth it as a job. It's very fun for like the first month where you're like, oh shit, I'm opening cars, and then I'm opening like doors and stuff, and I can get into anything. I can bust into a safe if I want to, you know? It's very fun for the first month, and then after that, it's just the same old routine of people being angry at you because they have to get into their car, and you're the barrier to getting into their car, but you're charging 150, you know? It's not fun. It's not fun. Don't do it. Not worth it. All right, let's see here. Any other good questions? Let's take a look at another good question here. This is a good one. Okay. What are your tips for surviving the depressing news cycle? Doom scrolling comes so easily to me. This is a good question. I think it's very relevant to a lot of people today. We live in a society, I would say this, we live in a society that has rapidly changed. In the past, we would be hearing about news days later or hours later or maybe even weeks later, you know, as newspapers would get reports out. Oftentimes, like, the news that would come to us would be filtered. So if you're hearing about national news, for example, it would be important. It would be like not important stuff, but like it would be like stuff that's really big in the news today. It would be stuff that's really relevant. It would be about war. It would be about important, like, politicians dying or doing something. You know, it would be presented to us at a slower pace, and less of the additional fluff would be included in that, I think. Now, today, we live in the era of social media. Everything gets sent to us. Everything gets sent to us. You get to see everything live, frankly. You get to see live things. You get to see everything within an hour of it dropping in terms of news. Like, fucking, I hear about news on my Tumblr from people memeing about it, and then it's within 2 hours. People are memeing about it, and that's how I hear about news. You know, on top of that, you're hearing about like shootings every day, about people dying in other parts of the world every day. It's every day there's some sort of horror coming to you, because there's not this time filter present anymore. Everything is so instantaneous. So because of that, because we don't have that filter to protect us anymore, we have to, I feel, build our own filters, and we have to protect ourselves. Because people in the past very much relied on the filters that were in place that were put together by people that seemed to know what they were doing. But unfortunately, due to negligence, due to neglect, those filters, those systems that we would have had in the past, or even just due to natural processes, of change, of technology developing, those filters don't exist anymore. And we need to build them for ourselves. We need to have self-care, and we need to have boundaries. And that's what I think people struggle with in this day and age, is boundary and willpower, frankly. Boundaries and willpower are really the biggest problem. You as a person, I think, the thing, me, you, everybody as a person, we have to moderate our own intake. That's one thing. So sometimes you have to stop watching the news. Sometimes you have to only check a little bit of the news and move on to your day. Sometimes the news is a lot and you have to take a break from it. Other times you have to be involved and you have to hear what's going on. You have to be keeping up to date. But you have to know when you're getting too overwhelmed and to take a step back and to say, this is too much for me. I need to take a break. I need to come back to when I'm capable of taking in this information. The other thing is sometimes we get bathed with all this national and international news that is really depressing and really hard to hear. And it is important to keep up to date on those things. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but sometimes it's valuable to switch over to a local perspective. Think about it this way. Your local world is what you have to deal with every single day. Not just like the international news and the national news is important, of course, but it's big and hard and difficult to approach. And oftentimes there are these systems that are in place that make it very difficult for us to change anything about it. But when it comes to local news, you can do something about that. That's your neighborhood. That's your city. That's your state. Those are the people that you live near. Those are the people that are homeless on your street. Those are the people that are getting harassed by cops. Those are the people who are getting fucked over by the politicians. That's a focus that you can have, where you can have an immediate response. You can do something there. You can go protest. You can go to a food bank and help people out and donate food. You can send a letter to your local council member or call them or talk to them. You can protest at their house directly, frankly, because it's easy to get that information, much easier to get that information than to be able to access some of the billionaires and some of the politicians that exist out there that cause so many problems. Those are people you can access. That's one thing I would recommend, I guess. And I guess I would also recommend maybe a detachment as well. And this might sound callous, and I'm not saying that you should be detached entirely, but I think that having a bit of distance between yourself and what's going on in the world is important. If you keep perspective and recognize that historically, humanity has gone through these periods many times of people perpetuating genocide, of stealing, of not taking care of the public good, of murdering, of doing all kinds of things. These things have all persisted through history. They will continue to persist through history. And many of those things have improved over time. We don't have as much murder or crime as we did in the past. Even just over this last 100 years, things have dropped drastically. I mean, lots of things have changed, to be fair, but you're still, obviously you're still getting bathed in a lot of shit. You're getting bathed in a lot of bad news, and it's hard to avoid it. And I get that. Sometimes it's just going to be overwhelming, and you're going to doom scroll, and it's going to be sad. But finally, I think my last big piece of advice is to take care of yourself. You need to realize that you're one human amongst a sea of billions. You are one organism amongst a sea of trillions. You are one speck on a speck planet orbiting a speck sun in a speck galaxy in a gigantic universe that has no understanding of you or awareness that you even exist. We live in a tiny story, ensconced in a larger and grander story, ever more ensconced in further grander stories. It's going to be okay. Things are going to go badly, and things are going to be lost along the way, and people are going to get hurt. We have to do what we can to stop that. But at the end of the day, life is going to go on, and we're going to be okay. Things are going to happen. The fact that intelligence has arisen on our planet, that people can think and feel and love and create and build wonderful works of art and can fight against depression, that tells me that we're going to be okay. Even if things are bad right now, in the future, we're going to still be here and things are going to be all right. Okay? So have some hope out there, folks, and have some hope, Anon. It's going to be okay. I know things look a little hairy out there, a little scary. People are dying left and right. But just remember, take care of yourself. Don't stop fighting for what's right. And have a little detachment. Understand that these things happen and that we have to continue to live, and we have to continue to do what we can for ourselves and to do the right thing. Okay? Okay. All right. We have time for probably one more question. So let me see what I can find here. Maybe a little bit of a fun one. Let's see. Let's see. What is your favorite celestial / heavenly body out there in space? That's a good question. I think if I had to say what my favorite one was, I mean, this covers a lot of things. It covers stars, planets, asteroids, all kinds of stuff. If I had to say what my favorite one is, I would say Pluto. I love Pluto. Look, I understand the whole thing about it becoming a minor dwarf planet, and it's not a planet anymore, technically. You know, I have to agree with the International Astronomical Union on this one. Like, I think they're probably in the right, because their argument with Pluto, by the way, and I'm just going to cover this before I go into why I like Pluto, but their argument about why Pluto isn't technically a planet is that a planet is one that has an orbit that fully surrounds the orbit of another planet. So, for example, Earth fully encloses the orbits of Venus and Mercury. So that makes it a planet. But Pluto has a very eccentric orbit, and it ends up crossing over Neptune's orbit and becoming closer to the sun than Neptune is. That is the reason why it's an exoplanet, or not an exoplanet, sorry, a dwarf planet, is because of that weird wonky orbit. If it had a concentric orbit, or sorry, is concentric the right word? If it had an orbit that fully enclosed around Neptune and was outside of the boundaries of Neptune, then it would be a planet, but it's not. So unfortunately, that's just where it stands. But it's nice. It's okay, because there's tons of other dwarf planets out there. Pluto's not alone. There's Eris, Makemake, I think is what it's called. There's lots of other ones out there that I'm forgetting because there's so many of them. But I keep saying exoplanets. Dwarf planets are super cool, and I love them. And personally, I grew up looking at Pluto. All we had was fuzzy images back when I was growing up. And then when we got that beautiful, beautiful, beautiful picture that got sent over from, what was it called? What's that probe called? Oh God, which one was it? Which one was the probe? Hold on, I gotta look this up. Probe Pluto. New Horizons. That's right, New Horizons. When New Horizons passed by, and we got to see a glimpse of Pluto and that beautiful little heart-shaped divot, and like all those lovely craters, and Charon orbiting around it, and how big Charon is. Charon's a gigantic moon, by the way, in comparison to Pluto. I think it's like, what, a third of the size of Pluto? Anyway, it was beautiful. It was such a beautiful view. And frankly, as a child, I grew up daydreaming that I could live on Pluto. I could have like my own base there, and I would have a ship and everything like that. That was like my little outpost on the edges of the solar system, far away from everybody else, where I got to like stargaze, and I got to fly a ship around and see cool things. And you know, there was just this kind of like magic to Pluto and its distance and its isolation that I really, really like. And it's really beautiful. It's a beautiful planet. Personally, I think it's quite lovely. So that my Anon is probably my favorite celestial body, personally. Thank you everybody for the anonymous questions. I do appreciate it so much. If you want to get your question answered and you want to have it front of the list, you can always submit chips and channel points to submit a question on stream. So thank you everybody who tuned in, who's watching. Really appreciate you catching Coffee with Kahtide. I hope that dose of news, pop culture, and advice really helped you out today. Let me just do my little closing statement here. Let's see here. That's our show, folks. It was great to spend time with you. Thanks to our live audience, to our Spotify listeners, to our VOD enjoyers. By the way, I wanted to mention that for VOD enjoyers, you may not have seen the VOD for Coffee with Kahtide 1, because I didn't know this, but apparently he listed as a podcast on YouTube, it'll actually shuffle it over to YouTube Music, and you won't see it in your subscriptions, which is really annoying. So I actually put it back into its own playlist. You should be able to see it now, hopefully. But this VOD will also go up there, so you can expect to see it there. And Spotify, you can definitely see it on Spotify as well. First episode is up on there already. I had a weird technical issue with it recently, so I'm gonna see if I can get the other episode up again. But yeah, go check out the Spotify, check out the VODs, and to everybody else who has enjoyed our show, thank you as well. And before I go, one quick shout out to a recent follower who I saw joined up recently. Flying Condor followed yesterday. Thank you, Flying Condor, for the follow. Also, thank you, Lunar Ruins and Sordior. Sordior gave out that gifted sub earlier. Thank you so much for that. Really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed that, Kid Kazma. Lunar Ruins resubscribed yesterday as well. Has been subscribed for 13 months. Thank you, everybody, so much for the support. It means a whole lot. But yeah, that's our show, folks. I really appreciate you coming out here. Goodbye, everybody. Be sure to tune in for more Kahtide content Saturdays and Sundays at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. But until next time, see ya.
Well, looks like that's our show, folks. Until next time.